Good morning, everyone. Uh, Gosh, it was a busy day yesterday. My daughter came over with both of my granddaughters. We had a great afternoon together. Oh my gosh, to be able to be a part of a little person, to see, the next stage of what they're going to do from just laying there. And now she's starting more and more to recognize people, and she just loves people. And coos at you and this, that, yes. Oh my gosh. And she has her way already. I mean, if it's not going exactly, she'll let you know, right? But also, it's just the sweetest way. It's like, ugh, 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 ugh. So wonderful. And I can be, in this great way, a part of it. Ah, yes. Then my oldest granddaughter, she's getting her boot off today. It's like she says, Rosie, this is the happiest day, the best day of my summer. I got just to get the boot off. Wow, okay. Well, it's not just that. She also has orientation at a new school because they had moved. So she's in a new district now. She's very excited about that. And then she's going to a concert tonight with her dad as well. So, whoa, she's going to have this amazing day. And so happy for her. She shows it too. Anywho, so there it is. Don't have much else to share right now. Just gotta enjoy, right? Yes. Live in the present. Yeah. And this fan's making more and more noise. I wonder what's going on. Used to be really quiet. There's just too much doomsday stuff going on out there, right? People, golly, does it ever end? I mean, people still go for that. So just, and I can't control what's going to go on tomorrow. I can't control anything really when it comes down to it, but I can acknowledge, wow, this was a wonderful day yesterday. Had a wonderful day the day before yesterday, and so on. When I look back, yes, today it's early in the morning, Hundoke time, kind of, yeah, and well, we'll see what today brings. Yes, honor the days that you have, rather than lament over what hasn't. All right. Not according to. Right? I can't help the man-made stuff. People want to go for that in their leaders. Well, so be it. Can't tell me that you're not stronger than one dude if you really want to do something. And that wouldn't have to be done with violence. Just say, no, not doing that. Not going to do it. Okay. So, we are in the first book of Maccabees 6. Eesh. So tired of reading this. I remember on my last job, the last job I ever had outside as an employee, okay? And it wasn't a bad job. I kind of liked it, really, when it came down to it. But I felt like my time to do jobs like that was coming to an end. And I remember I would get up in the morning, take care of the barn, take care of everything, and then had to be at work at 9 o'clock. get in the car, drive there, content, and I'd walk into the store and I would immediately start to feel sick, lightheaded, not well. Suddenly I was fine 5 minutes before, and suddenly I'm not feeling well. And that went on for a long, like months. That went on like that, and it became like this. Oh my gosh! And I would do my job, but I couldn't wait to get back out of the store. And every day it was like this. Every day that I went to work, it was like that. And I wanted to just quit. But I knew if I'd quit this job, I was done. I was not going back to work. All of my children were set in the world. My youngest one had finished college. She was out there doing her own thing as well. And I was ready for a change. What kind of a change? I wanted to retire. I just wanted to retire, be done with it, and just make do with what I had. And I didn't want it to just. I wanted. I wanted the permission from heaven to do so, because I knew if I did that, then things would go well. If I just want to do my own thing, I knew that I didn't feel comfortable doing that. And I went to work that one day, and something happened there I'm not going to get into. And sure enough, the story on what happened with on another employee there got completely twisted around. And suddenly, even though all the people involved were right there, there was no, the one person that supposedly then I talked about it was not there, and I did this. And no, everybody was right there. And it got twisted around. A conversation I had with another employee where also the other person that was there was also involved, was also right there, but I had a conversation with just the one employee, and that was that. And somehow it got twisted around that I had it with the other person, and I'm going, no, that's not. Mm-mm. And I went back to my station, and sure enough, here comes my station manager or department manager and says, hey, I need to talk to you. Also happened to be a friend of mine. And so he pulls me into the somewhere private and says, hey, do you want to lose your job? I mean, why would you do that? I said, hey, why don't you? He said, we're friends. We were good friends. I mean, we were such good friends that when he lost his house, he came to stay with us with all his multiple animals, horses, dogs, chickens, and I don't know what, right? And I let him stay at our home, just saying, right? Until he found his own home again. Yeah, you think that was easy? So I said, hey, why don't you give me some credit here and ask me what happened? You're not even asking. You automatically assume it was as everybody else says. Or these two that were kind of in cahoots with certain things. Okay, I'm not going to go all there. And he kind of looked at me and he says, well, you can't talk about management like that. I said, I didn't. I had nothing to do with talking about management. That was between this one person and me. And that person just happened to be there. And I'm not sure how it got involved, but I never addressed the other person. And and he kind of, well, if you want to stay here, I said, you know what? Thank you. I needed to exactly, I guess, be in this situation where now I took my coat off, handed it to him, and said, I'm going home, and I'm not coming back. And that's how I ended my last job. It was about a month later when my friend came 10 o'clock at night. I'm going, what the heck is that? 4-wheeler coming down the road? this late at night? And I went out, and there he was. He says, I took some courage to come and for me to come see you, but I wanted to apologize for what happened. I said, what, did you get the whole story or something, or just realized I'm not like that? And he says, well, I know something happened there, and it never sat well with me, and I'm sorry on how I treated you at that time. I said, well, okay, it's fine. It is what it is. But I have also told him, I said, look, for better or for worse, I said, I kind of needed that day because I wanted to quit, but I needed to almost have permission from heaven to do so, and that kind of gave me the courage to, okay, I'm done here. What am I doing here, right? And oddly enough, I didn't feel I had that sickness that just kind of overcame me every time I walked into that store and all. It was gone, completely gone. Yes, kind of an odd story. Yeah. Well, I've told you this because I feel a little bit the same way with some of these books here in the Bible. I took on a job. I need to do it. I want to do it because I know why I'm doing it, for the reputation of God. But I'm not finding any joy in reading any of this. None. I'm not finding God's word in here. All I'm hearing is, okay, did it happen even? Did it happen in a way that it's written down? What's the agenda of the people? And I open up the book, and now we're in Maccabees, and I feel kind of the same way. I start to feel a little nauseous. I'm not lightheaded. I'm not excited to read any of this. It makes me sad. More than anything, it makes me sad. So, but we're going to continue doing it anyway. Yes, because we're going to get into better things. And we have to make our way through these parts as well. They are in the Bible. Don't know why they are in here. No idea. I don't find the guidance of God so far, except for, yes, I'm being alerted to what? And that one part with the 1,000 people in the desert. Yeah, you think I forget about that, right? No, and I've been praying, and I've been, yes, trying to give these people, and the perpetrators, a way in spirit world to start to restore. Yes, yeah, that happens. There's a reason why we have Hyungjanim, not Hyungjanim in spirit world. This dude's doing amazing stuff there. Yes, you are. I know. Yeah. So, connections. You gotta have connections. Yes. What about True Father? People are gonna have to figure that out on their own. Things work in a certain way in spirit world, and Father talked about that enough. Yeah, sadly now Father is in a situation where I'm just saying, okay, not gonna go there. All right, first book of Maccabees. Let's get going on 6. Oh, so much more to go. The last days of Antiochus Epiphanes. Okay, King Antiochus, meanwhile, was making his way through the upper provinces. He had heard that in Persia there was a city called Elymais, renowned for its riches, its silver and gold. Oh, jeez. And its very wealthy temple containing golden armor, breastplates, and weapons, left there by Alexander, son of Philip, the king of Macedon, the first to reign over the Greeks. He therefore went and attempted to take the city and pillage it, but without success, the citizens having been forewarned. They resisted him by force of arms. He was routed and began retreating very gloomily towards Babylon. But while he was still in Persia, news reached him that the armies which had invaded Judea had been routed, and that Lysias, in particular, had advanced in massive strength, only to be forced to turn and flee before the Jews. That the latter were now stronger than ever, thanks to the arms, supplies, and abundant spoils acquired from the armies they had cut to pieces, and that they had pulled down the abomination which he had erected on the altar in Jerusalem. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Had encircled the sanctuary with high walls as in the past, and had fortified Bethsur, one of his cities. So here's this guy, after all this warring and is over, so this king Antiochus starts to want to go and conquer a place where he had heard that they're rich, they have got a lot of good stuff there when it comes down to it, and starts a war for that. You see? Yeah, well, I'm just saying, what is war all about? To right or wrong when it comes down to it? Okay, World War II, good example why one should step in. But here, all right, could have looked at it from Judas's point, but again, there are no other solutions at all available than to just kill and slaughter and burn things down. No other way. Well, that again depends, because as I said, Mattathias put whom in charge and who took over. When the king heard this news, he was amazed and profoundly shaken. He threw himself on his bed and fell sick with grief. Over what, exactly? That what? Over that somebody says, well, we're not going to have to desecrate a temple. We're going to fix it up again. And he does what? Exactly? When he finds out about that? You gotta be kidding me. And he did that in someone else's country, right? That does not make any sense. What kind of king was this now? I'm telling you what, them kings are just one crazy nut after another. Not kidding. Who puts these people in charge? Since things had not turned out for him as he had planned. And there he remained for many days, subject to deep and recurrent fits of melancholy. He got depressed until he realized that he was dying. Oh, okay. Then summoning all his friends, he said to them, sleep evades my eyes, and my heart is cowed with anxiety. I have been wondering how I could have come to such a pitch of distress, so great a flood as that which now engulfs me, I who was so generous and well loved in my heyday. But now I recall how wrongly I acted in Jerusalem when I seized all the vessels of silver and gold there and ordered the extermination of the inhabitants of Judah for no reason at all. Oh, well, that took a turn here. This, I am convinced, is why these misfortunes have overtaken me and why I am dying of melancholy in a foreign land. Ooh. Huh. Wait a minute, is Antiochus the one? I can't remember. I'm not even going to go into it. Dear me, I'm not even. The ascension of Antiochus V. He summoned Philip, one of his friends, and made him a regent of the whole kingdom. He entrusted him with his diadem, his robe, and his signet, on the understanding that he was to educate his son Antiochus and train him for the throne. King Antiochus then died in the year 149. Lysias, learning that the king was dead, established on the throne in succession to him his son Antiochus, whom he had brought up from childhood, and styled him Eupator. two different people involved here on establishing the sun now. It's just too good. It's just so confusing. The siege of the citadel of Jerusalem by Judas Maccabees. That's put in here again. The people in the citadel at the time were blockading Israel around the sanctuary and were taking every opportunity to harm them and to support the Gentiles. What now? I thought that was already all taken care of. Judas decided that they must be destroyed, and he mobilized the whole people to besiege them. They assembled and laid siege to the citadel in the year 150, building batteries and siege engines. Oh, so we're getting this after, because sounds like we're getting this after. So we're first hearing about what's going on with Antiochus, which was at the same time. Then in 149 he dies. 150 is when Judas goes and he sieges the, what is it, the temple or the citadel now, or are they two different things? In 150, so that's now we're hearing after Antiochus' death in 149. Now we're hearing on why Antiochus got sick and suddenly realized, oh my gosh, okay, my gosh, why not put this ahead? They will put this together, man. But some of the besieged broke through the blockade, and to these a number of renegades from Israel attached themselves. So some of them broke through, and there were renegades from Israel, and they went with him. So they didn't like what Judas was doing, his own people. You know what? They made their way to the king and said, "How much longer are you going to wait before you see justice done and avenge our fellows? We were content to serve your father, to comply with his orders, and to obey his edicts." Oh! Well, that's interesting. As a result, our own people will have nothing to do with us. What is more, they have killed all those of us they could catch and looted our family property. Nor is it on us alone that their blows have fallen, but on all your territories. At this moment they are laying siege at the citadel of Jerusalem to capture it, and they have fortified the sanctuary and Beth-sur. Unless you forestall them at once, they will go on to even bigger things, and then you will never be able to control them. Wow, that's interesting. So again, there's a civil war going on now in Jerusalem. That didn't sound like that before, but that's what it sounds like to me. Got nobody to fight anymore? You go and fight your own people? That's it? Okay. Too peaceful? Who needs an army when there's no war, right? Okay. Campaign of Antiochus V and Lysias, the battle of Beth-Zachariah. The king was furious when he heard this and summoned all his friends, the generals of his forces and the marshals of horse. He recruited mercenaries from other kingdoms and the Mediterranean islands. Okay, now here's my question. Why did Antiochus, the one before his son, die? First, I thought it was, because he's losing all these he's losing all these riches. What are they doing with the temple now? He's losing his status, his prestigious status among all the people, because he can't hold on to the stuff. But then it says, no, he realized on how wrong that had been to do that, and fell into deep depression over it. Didn't try to fix anything, but no. Well, the two, Philip and who was the other guy? Can't remember. I would have to go back and look. Who were in charge of raising that son now? Obviously, if that one king gives Philip all the power and then say, trust him, but you need to raise my son then to be king. That means that Antiochus V was still what? A child? Why did they not raise him according to your father passed away, died because? Well, the information is in here somehow. So it must have been written down somewhere. So they must have known about it. Or it was just put in there for kicks. I don't know. I'm just wondering. But they did not teach this young king, hey, your dad realized that what he did was wrong. Here now come Israelites telling this guy, this king, who I guess now has grown up, so a number of years went by, hey, we served your dad, and we were happy about it. We had no complaints. And here now, look what's going on in our country with our own countrymen. You need to do something. And here's Antiochus V all going, yeah, oh yeah, I got to do something. I'm not getting it. What's going on here exactly? Yes? It seems like I can. So, where do I hear the word of God in this? Something that, okay, once I started reading more, I'm going, oh wow, wait a minute. Why? What happened here with this Antiochus? There's that little bit in here. And suddenly he realized, oh my God, what did I do? What did I actually do? Why did he have this realization? Did it go anywhere though? And here's now his son. All right. His forces numbered 100,000 foot soldiers, 20,000 cavalry, and 32 elephants with experience of battle conditions. They advanced through Idumaea and besieged Beth Zur, pressing the attack for days on end. They also constructed siege engines, but the defenders made a sortie and set these on fire, putting up a brave resistance. At this, Judas left the citadel and pitched camp at Beth Zechariah, opposite the royal encampment. The king arose at daybreak and marched his army at top speed down the road to Beth Zechariah, where his forces took up their battle formation and sounded the trumpets. The elephants were given a syrup of grapes and mulberries to prepare them for the battle. I'm sorry, guys. This is funny, right? Telling us on what they gave to the elephants. They have that kind of information in here. Doggone stories. They're just stories. This does not make any sense. These animals were distributed among the phalanxes, to each elephant being allocated 1,000 men dressed in coats of mail with bronze helmets on their heads. 500 picked horsemen were also assigned to each beast. What were these elephants going to do? The horsemen anticipated every move their elephant made. Wherever it went, they went with it, never quitting it. And what does that mean? What kind of a strategy was that? On each elephant, to protect it, was a stout wooden tower, kept in position by girths, each with its 3 combatants as well as its mahout. The remainder of the cavalry was stationed on one or other of the 2 flanks of the army to harass the enemy and cover the phalanxes. I have no idea what that means. I have no idea. How do you use elephants in an army? Maybe I need to go and read up. No, I'm not going to go and read up on that. Doggone slaughter of animals, too. Jeez. Baby, do I need to clean out your ears again? I've been doing it every day. She seems to have quite a few hours where it's not bothering her, and then it just starts up again. It's a never-ending story. Poor girl. When the sun glinted on the bronze and golden shields, the mountains caught the glint and gleamed like fiery torches. One part of the royal army was deployed on the upper slopes of the mountain, and the other in the valley below. They advanced in solid, well-disciplined formation. Everyone trembled at the noise made by these vast this vast multitude, the thunder of the troops on their march, and the clanking of their armor, for it was an immense and mighty army. Judas and his army advanced to give battle, and 600 of the king's army were killed. Now we had such a detailed whatever on the king's side, and all we're getting here from Judas and his army advanced to give battle, and 600 of the king's army were killed. Done. Okay. Eleazar called Avaron. Well, then call him Avaron. Noticing that one of the elephants was royally caparisoned and was also taller than all the others, and supposing that the king was mounted on it, sacrificed himself to save his people and win an imperishable name. Boldly charging towards the creature through the thick of the phalanx, dealing death to right and left, so that the enemy scattered on either side of his onslaught. He darted in under the elephant, thrust at it from underneath, and killed it. The beast collapsed on top of him, and he died on the spot. The Jews, however, realizing how strong the king was and how ferocious his army, retreated ahead of them. So he gave his life for nothing, just killed the elephant. Huh? Okay. Hey. Sounds like, okay, I'm not going to go there. Gosh. All right. The capture of Beth-sur and siege of Mount Sion by the Syrians. The royal army moved up to encounter them outside Jerusalem, and the king began to blockade Judea and Mount Zion. He granted peace terms to the people of Beth-sur, who evacuated the town. It lacked store of provisions to withstand the siege, since the land was enjoying a sabbatical year. Oh, interesting. So what? You have a sabbatical year and you're not planting anything? Dear me. Well, that's nice. At least he gave them time to skedaddle. Having occupied Beth-sur, the king stationed a garrison there to hold it. He besieged the sanctuary for a long time, erecting batteries and siege engines, flamethrowers, and ballista scorpions to discharge arrows, and catapults. The defenders countered these by construing their own engines and were thus able to prolong their resistance. But they had no food in their stores, since it was the 7th year, and because those who had taken refuge in Judea from the Gentiles had eaten up the last of their reserves. Blame someone else. Only a few men were left in the holy place. Owing to the severity of the famine, the rest had dispersed and gone home. It wasn't a sabbatical year. They had a famine going. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you what. The king grants the Jews religious freedom. Oh, so it sounds like to me Judas could not. So he wasn't, what? So God now was not on his side to, okay, you know what? As I said, the king grants the Jews religious freedom. Meanwhile, Philip, whom King Antiochus before his death had appointed to train his son Antiochus for the throne, had returned from Persia and Media with the forces that had accompanied the king and was planning to seize control of affairs. On hearing this, Lysias at once decided to leave and said to the king, the generals of the army, and the men, "We are growing weaker every day. We are short of food, and the place we are besieging is well fortified. Moreover, the affairs of the kingdom demand our attention. Let us offer the hand of friendship to these men and make peace with them and with their whole nation. Let us grant them permission to follow their own customs as before, since it is our abolition of these customs that has provoked them into acting like this." Well, All this realization only comes after they've run out of provisions. Unbelievable. The king and his commanders approved this argument, and he offered this argument. How about this solution? And he offered the Jews peace terms, which they accepted. Okay, who accepted this? Was it actually Jews? Who did he talk to? It doesn't say. But we know that the elephants were given juice of grape and something else before the battle, so they did well or something. So they knew they go. Okay. But then this is all just, where is the detailed talks of this now? The king and the generals ratified the treaty by oath, and the besieged accordingly left the fortress. And who made this? Who was a part of this beside on the side of the Jews? The king then entered Mount Zion, but on seeing how impregnable the place was, he broke the oath he had sworn, and gave orders for the encircling wall to be demolished. He then hurriedly withdrew, making off for Antioch, where he found Philip already master of the city. Antiochus gave battle and captured the city by force of arms. What? Making off for Antioch, where he found Philip already master of the city. Antiochus gave battle and captured the city by force of arms. So what now? Now what does that mean now? That Antiochus gave battle against the one who raised him? You know what? I'm not even going there. None of this makes any sense to me. It's not enough information. I have no idea. So that everybody seems like to be the only way this ended, at least for that, with the Jews and what? Who knows what the other ones were? Was because everybody ran out of what? Provisions. Yeah, I have no doubt that a lot of soldiers were sick or this or that. So what are you gonna do, right? Yes, yeah. So, okay, we're tired, let's go home, and and then they had the famine. Yeah? All right, that's a terrible thing to happen. Oh, they had the famine because they had the sabbatical year. Okay, seriously? Ugh, Jesus. And so what finally ended the war wasn't God being on one side or the other. Yeah? No, it was because of what? Went on for too long, this, that. We're out of food, we're out of everything, and we gotta go. Let's make a peace treaty with them. Let them do whatever. They're already doing it anyway. And that's it. That's what ended all this for now. Told you guys, God has nothing to do with it. Nothing with that. That's not God. And who would have wanted to live even amongst God's people at that time? Fighting against each other. Divided. They're divided. I think they've lost all direction. Haven't heard anything about a prophet in a long time, though. Yeah, what have they done any good? Yeah, just saying. It's no wonder I feel the way I do when I read. I start to read and go, ugh, man. Do I want to read any of this? Do I actually want to? How about priests and reverends and all them, whatever religion you are, if you believe in the Bible, start reading this kind of stuff. Read that to your congregation. Say, why is this in the Bible? Anybody have any idea why this is in the Bible like this? What are we supposed to learn from that? Everybody loves to read Jesus' words, right? Especially when you can use it against somebody else. Right? Yes? Tell me it isn't that way. Why do you think I so seldom go to church? I don't want to hear in church a priest, a reverend, a pastor using God's word, using Jesus' word against someone else. And that's what I often hear being done. I didn't say every time, but often. When you actually have someone in a church, a pastor, a priest, a reverend, that is trying to teach its congregation to take a good look at themselves and teaches actually Jesus' words, especially Jesus' words. So that's the Old Testament. Okay, good luck with that. Except for Genesis, then the people don't like it. They don't want people preaching. We got to take a good look at ourselves. There's no need. We don't have time. We don't have time. We don't have a foundation of proper goodness, to point the finger at anybody else. Would you agree? Yeah, I've seen that. Even I've gone. I happened to be part of not too long where a church was looking because the pastor was getting older and says, I gotta retire, guys. I really want to continue, but and they were looking for somebody else, and there was one that came that was fabulous. A young pastor, just taken his, I guess, vows as a pastor or something, finished his seminary, theologian, whatever studies and all, had a family, couple of wonderful children, and wonderful wife, met them all, and I loved his sermon. I loved it in the way that he not just regurgitated what most churches have, a calendar of what you're going to talk about, and everybody does the same thing. Okay, that's just how it is, as far as I know, I've seen, and everybody has to go by that. But he kind of did that, but at the same time he talked from his own experiences in life and on his own thoughts. Yes, and kind of opinions, I guess, according to how deeply he studied God's word and his connection to God. And I loved it. That was one of the best sermons I've heard in a long time. And it went on and on and on. It took that, yes. Their preacher that they've had there for a long time, 30 minutes. This guy went on for an hour plus, and you could start telling people, like, is he done yet? Is he not going? Wow, why are you people here? Why are you people even here? Listen to what he has to say, because it's good. It's actually really good. Needless to say, he didn't get the position. I guess he preaches too long. I don't know. I told someone that was in charge of kind of part of the elders, I said, you guys got to get this guy. He will bring the young people back to church. The ones that need it, anyway. I said, he's good. Yeah, We're going to check out our other options too. I thought, man, so sad. So sad. Anyway, yeah, we don't use God's word against anyone. It should not be done that way. Or that God will favor, even at that time, one slaughter over another. I'm just saying. Right? Yes? Anyway, that's all I have to give this morning. Ugh. No, I want to continue on. I'm not tapping out yet. I've been watching alone, yes. Not going to say anything. I couldn't do what they did. Well, we actually talked about it yesterday. My granddaughter said, Rosie, you would be good at this. And I go, no, I wouldn't. And I don't know a quarter of what these people all know about surviving this, and they're struggling. But I said, I think I'd last a week. Yeah, I think I would last for a week, and would have some fun, putting up a little shelter and, maybe do some gathering, For a week you can live without, maybe fishing. I'd try fishing, and kind of would make it, for a week, maybe, but, I don't think, no, I'd be very honest and say, yeah, I'm not going to last, But then you never know. No. When I hear what these people all on the show, what they've done for years and years, and then they get there and they're lost in a way, become completely lost, even though they have all this knowledge, have done all this stuff. And there was one guy in one of this seasons who says, I'm flabbergasted on how I know all this, yet I'm out here and I'm lost. All my experience and many of these different things have not prepared me for this. And I kind of went, whoa, that's honesty there. Right? Yes, okay. Well, anyway, so there it is. Which now, having shared the experience in the church with this new pastor, or could have been, didn't happen. And reading this, we can clearly see that. I can clearly see that people are not really interested in finding God's word, are they? They are very happy to use God, though. Abuse God, use God for their own agendas. That's wrong. That's definitely not right. And one should have the courage to say something about that. You want to do it your way? Okay, but don't pull God into it. Please don't do that. Yes? Done. So there it is. That's all I have to share this morning. Yes? May Heavenly Parent bless and protect you and embrace you with love. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow.